Hi, welcome back to Visual Projects. And this is your journey of starting a project and executing a successful project. And we are here to give our best in terms of support to help you in this journey. In this lesson, you're going to look at how to successfully execute your project work. Now, as a student, by now you understand what is going to be the scope, you understand the deliverables, and you understand who your stakeholders are, right? And you also understand all the constraints now, and you also understand all the skills that you possess, that you need, what are the skills that the market is expecting. So this is great amount of information and knowledge, and we are really happy to have come this far with you in facilitating your journey in aggregating all this information, right? So we are going to deep dive in some of these critical aspects of stakeholder management, time management, communication, cost, risk, and finalizing the project report. Because a good strategy is going to be, is going to provide you all the data that you need to be super successful in putting a good execution plan and also following through your execution plan. And of course, a good strategy plus a good execution will always result in a success story. So coming to identifying stakeholders. Now, stakeholders, this is such an important topic, right? Because, we are solving a problem through this project, but the end goal is, you want to land onto a good job, or you want to establish a startup or a business of your own. But it is all about working with and delivering things for customers, for your managers if you choose a corporate job. Now, when you're running a project, this is a great opportunity for you to go through all those experiences. So that's where you start building your stakeholders. Now, your stakeholders, on one side, you have the academic community, which is your college, your professor, your guide, and the university expectations. That's going to drive who those stakeholders are going to be. So they're going to monitor your progress on a project perspective. But you picked up a live project, and this is towards solving a problem. Either it's a social cause or it's going to solve a business problem, which means you're going to have folks from your customers who are going to benefit or who are today impacted by a specific issue, and you're trying to solve that problem for them, right? So they naturally become part of your stakeholders. Alongside, it is also important to take note of everyone else in the ecosystem who may be impacted through this project directly or indirectly, or who provide governance, for example, the government agencies, or there could be some censorship board, for example, if it's going to be about a movie. So all these individuals should be listed as stakeholders. Time management. This is so critical for you to be successful. And as we know, this is an academic project, and hence you don't have infinite amount of time here. Even if it is going to be for a PhD thesis, yes, you have considerably, more time. But again, the goal is try and meet all your goals and objectives within the time that you put in your project charter and that you've agreed with your stakeholders. Because it's not just about you and your time, but it is also about time that you want all your stakeholders to be available for this project, which is your academic pursuit. Yes, you're going to try and solve a problem that they're facing, but yet, this is something which is done for your interest. And hence, it's important to, list down all the activities, understand how much time it's going to take, understand how much of time commitment you need from your stakeholders, and plan ahead of time and list all the deliverables, the key activities, what do you expect as the outcome from each activity, in what sequence, what are those activities that can be done in parallel, and then estimating the time and resources that are needed for each step, and then finally using that plan to track your progress and also use the same plan to provide timely communication to all your stakeholders. Not finally, the next step is going to be on communication, right? So, timely communication is very important. And also, simple communication is equally important. So, please manage your communication between the stakeholders. There are the whole lot of many ways of staying connected. You have the email, Skype, and you have video conferencing that's available. So find what best meets everybody's requirement. The goal is not to showcase that you're trendy. The goal is not to showcase that you're up to date in terms of using some of the latest tools and techniques that are available. Yes, you can demonstrate that you're aware and then you're using them, but the goal is to provide timely communication and very effective communication, right? So keep it timely, brief. Try and use the best technology that will help you deliver this message. And also, it's not just one-way communication. It's always good to also try and get feedback from your stakeholders so you don't have any surprises towards the end of the project. Cost management, right? Each of them are constraints that we have spoken in the previous lesson. But again, at the time of doing your project charter, you're aware of the budget. So it's always important to stay within the budget and then plan. And again, look for ways and means where you can try and cut costs or you can keep this cost to the minimal. Yes, there could be a budget that is available. Sometimes maybe if you're lucky, it is surplus. But it's a good practice to try and deliver your project at as minimal cost as possible. Because when you go into the corporate world, that's another expectation is how, as an employee, and we wish you all the best, and we hope to see you do well and grow in your job, take up more and more responsibilities. But you're always going to be looked at how you're managing your stakeholders, how you're managing your time, and how you're managing your activities within the budget that was initially discussed. And the risk, right? All the constraints that we have spoken, in terms of people, time, and cost. Alongside, you also have to list out the other potential risks that might come in the way of you running this project, right? There are two aspects broadly in the project. One is the various critical factors that are causing the problem today that need to be solved. And there are also a bunch of factors that you're going to establish on what we should do to solve those problems, right? Now, both these are going to be activities that you will be following through, and there could be many risks that might come in the way of you successfully doing your research. For example, a lab test or an intervention in terms of enrolling volunteers, or doing some meta-analysis in terms of data being available, all the approvals that you might need for you to go through all these activities. So it's quite possible that you're learning some of these things that you've not thought of early on. So you should keep your list always up to date in terms of various risks that you're now seeing outside of what you'd already figured out, and try and maintain statuses and try and reach out to the people within the stakeholder group who can help you in mitigating these risks. So finally, some helpful tips. The student, as you start working on the project, the student should align the deliverables and also align the same in terms of the timelines that have already been agreed and communicated through the project charter and with timely communication. It's good to maybe maintain a dashboard to say that your costs are within control, that your resources commitment that you've got are being made available. If not, it's good to highlight all those areas that are in the red where you need your stakeholders to support you. And you got to ensure that you are always facilitating this timely engagement from the stakeholders. And if you're not getting their support, is to escalate on a timely manner.